All right, I'm thinking we can go ahead and get started.
Let's do it.
Cool. So thank you folks for joining us today. We're just going to have people trickling in over the next hopefully 10, 15 minutes or so. But today we're going to be talking to Rupa Health. I'm currently a PMM at Healthy and super excited to have the Rupa team here on the call today to speak to our partnership and speak to our integration. Rupa Health is currently, they take care of the entire end-to-end lab work experience, and you can really order, track, and get results from 30 plus lab companies in one place. So a little bit of our agenda here today. We're going to have Adrian speaking to how lab ordering works on Rupa Health. We're going to be talking about the Rupa and Healthy integration. Typically, just talking through the product, learning a little bit more about how to enable the Rupa and Healthy integration. Then we have a fireside chat with Dr. Kate Henry, who is the head of medical education at Rupa Health, a little bit of integration next steps, and finally, we'll open up for a Q&A and some follow-up resources. The questions box, the questions chat is open throughout this call. So if you guys have any questions or any concerns that come up, feel free to throw in that Q&A box, and we're just going to be closely monitoring that throughout this call. Now I'm just going to go ahead and hop into some quick introductions. So excited to have the Rupa team here on this call today. We have Matt Gilkerson, who is the partnerships lead at Rupa, located in Idaho. Adrian Martinez, head of practitioner partnerships, located in SF, and she'll later be joining us maybe 30 minutes or so, Dr. Kate Henry, who is the head of medical education, located in Philly. I'm now going to pass the mic over to you both to maybe do a couple seconds of introductions.
Yeah, Matt, do you want to start off? I think you might be muted. Nope, now you're muted.
How about now?
Perfect.
Awesome. So my name is Matt Gilkerson. I manage marketing partnerships at Rupa Health. You won't really see or hear me today outside of this, but I'll be in the chat and be sure to enter in some links. Very excited for today, and I'll pass the mic over to Adrian.
Awesome. Everyone, I am Adrian Martinez, as it says on the screen. I'm the head of practitioner partnerships here at Rupa Health. That very long title essentially means that my job is to ensure that you as a practitioner are set up for success when using Rupa and our various partners such as Healthy. Dr. Kate's not here yet, so I'm going to go ahead and just kind of steal the mic and just jump right into my spiel. So as pre-mentioned earlier, if you have any questions, just go ahead and use that Q&A button down your menu bar, and we'll have those answered for you as we're going through this. But while we're jumping in, before we jump in, I always like to give a kind of overview of Rupa Health, who we are, what we do, like why are we actually here today? And so I'm going to share my screen and jump right into it. So if you're able to, in the chat, how many of y'all, go ahead and write, how many of y'all are familiar with Rupa Health or even just order lab testing? Just do a yes or no in the chat if you order functional medicine lab testing. Yep, love it. A lot of yeses, no nos yet, somewhat, nope. Okay, across the board. So I love getting kind of a feel of my audience as to their familiarity with, Rupa Health, right? Because it's important to understand what we're here to talk about today. And really starting from the top, Rupa Health is a functional medicine lab platform. We are designed with the goal in mind to streamline lab testing. We do that in a number of ways. And as it says across my screen, you can order, track, and get results from 30 plus lab companies in one place. But why? Why do we do that? Right. So here's a little bit where we're headed today. I'm going to go through some of the pain points of currently what it looks like to order lab testing. I'll go through about Rupa Health, some of the labs on Rupa Health, actually all the labs on Rupa Health. We'll go through some short testimonials. Dr. Kate will get into more of that. And then I will walk through a Rupa Health demonstration. Following that, Dr. Kate, who is both a health user as well as the head of the head of medical education at Rupa Health, will give a little bit of her personal experience when using both platforms. And so when it comes to lab testing, there's a lot of, let's say, there's more not so fun parts than there is fun parts. And that's just an unfortunate reality of the circumstance, right? Some of those might be ordering and managing all those different lab companies. There are tens, if not maybe even hundreds of different lab companies. And as a practitioner, you likely have to have individual accounts set up with each specific lab company, right? You have one account for your stool testing. You have one account for your hair, for your urine, for your breath, for your blood, right? So on and so forth. And that within itself is inconvenient. If you've ever even just set up a lab account directly with the labs, you know what I'm talking about. Handling payments for these cash pay labs. These tests are expensive, right? And so what does the payment process look like? Are you having the patient pay directly to the labs? Are you paying for the labs yourself, managing billing with the patient? That's another thing on your plate. Is there insurance involved? Are there super bills? There's a lot of pain points associated just with the payments within itself. Tracking results as they come in from different labs. Again, multiple different lab accounts means you have multiple different accounts to manage, not just to place your orders, but also manage your results. Which is why we're talking to Healthie today as well. Coordinating phlebotomy, especially for virtual practices. Blood draws are not fun, and they tend to be another thing that falls onto your plate as a practitioner. The last thing that you want for your patient is for them to have a bad experience, especially when it comes to a blood draw and requiring them to get another blood draw. So how are we ensuring that patients have access to the resources necessary to ensure that they're getting all of the help needed for them, including not only just support, but where they can get their blood drawn from a reliable source, which leads me to my next point: patient support, hand-holding through the requisition forms, collection instructions, sample issues, basically falling under the same umbrella of support. If patients have questions, how are we ensuring that they are having the best possible experience? Because this will take time out of your day. Patients are paying a lot of money oftentimes for these tests and want the best possible experience. Understandably, you want to be able to provide them the best possible experience. But what happens with that is that ends up taking a lot of time out of your day. And if you're lucky enough to have an admin, that takes time out of their day. And as we all know, time is money. So how are we creating a platform that's going to give you that time back? And so, which leads me to this next slide, is Rupa Health is the best way for practitioners to order and manage all their lab work. How are we doing this? We're saving you time. So 15 hours saved per week per practitioner. I think I jumped ahead. Less than 2 minutes order time, right? Having everything all under one roof. And I'll show you how we do this in a minute. And it's completely free for practitioners to sign up for. So having one single dashboard to have access to all of your labs is going to save you the time needed to, one, even create all those different accounts, but also two, have to go to those individual accounts to order your test and manage your results. Flexible labs and phlebotomy with in-office kits, drop ship kits, and lab referral tools. So the next point here is we're providing you with all of the tools that are required that you would be getting directly by working with the labs without having to go directly to the labs. Again, think of a one-stop shop here. Multiple billing options, including patient pay, practitioner pay, and custom fee options. Depending on how your existing operations work, we can likely work with them. But if you want improvements on your existing operations, maybe you don't want to handle any billing with your patients, right? You don't want to handle billing at all. Again, it's one more thing on your plate. We can actually take that off your shoulders, and also not only just take it off your shoulders, but provide a better and more streamlined patient experience by providing them payment options, such as you can see in the next one, HSA, FSA, payment plans. And we can even create automated super bills for your patients so they can submit that to their insurance for potential reimbursements. You know, one of the big hurdles with functional medicine lab testing at this time is that there's not a lot of clarity as to what's covered by insurance. I guess you can kind of say that expanded to kind of all insurance. You're not really always positive as to what's going to be covered, except for maybe like an annual checkup. But what we're doing by providing these super bills is putting your patients in the best possible position to get potential reimbursements for the cost of those tests. Again, something that you would traditionally have to do, we'll take that off your shoulders. Keyword here, automation. Patient support team providing support for requisition forms, cheat sheets, phlebotomy options, and other patient questions. We will handhold your patient and ensure that they are taken care of when taking these tests. I'm reiterating myself at this point, but all of the things that you see above are ones that would take time out of your day. What we're doing is providing you an all-in-one one-stop shop where you can order your tests. We'll take care of everything with the patient, including support, specimen issues, coordinating phlebotomy, filling out requisition forms, and then you're alerted as the results come in. That's where the cost savings comes into play. That's where the time savings come into play. And that's how we're going to allow you to operate more efficiently. Now, this is just the core product. I'm going to hop into a demo and show you some other cool features that might not even be in here in a little bit. But just to give you an overview, you don't have to look through all these, but we have over 30 different labs, over 3,000 different tests, all CLIA certified laboratories on our platform. So everything from stool tests, hair tests, breath tests, basic blood labs with LabCorp, you can find them all on our platform. And so as long as you are a licensed practitioner, and if you're not a licensed practitioner, we can help you out with a physician services program to get you access to these tests for your patients. So here are just some quick little overviews of some reviews from practitioners. I'll let you read those. But one of the most powerful parts about my job is I get to actually have these conversations with practitioners on a daily basis and learn about them and their practices, understand what their pain points might be, because not every practice, not every clinic has the same pain points. But what Rupa can do is help alleviate those based on your need, right? And so with that, y'all, that's enough of looking at my slides. What does this actually look like? This is the Rupa Health dashboard. To start, first thing I want to say is it's completely free to sign up for. Any of you can go to rupahealth.com and create an account right now. Again, whether you have your license on hand or maybe you need a provider to help order those tests for you, we can even do that through a program called Physician Services. And so what I really want to start off first by showing you on the platform itself is really how simple it is to order a test. So this is that main screen. Up on the top right, you'll see a button that says start an order. So you'll press that button. And all we need is the patient's first name, last name, and email address. That's it. Traditionally, when you're ordering a test, you need to have the whole patient file on hand. You need to go to each individual portal to order these tests. We just need the patient's first name, last name, and email address. We'll collect everything else from the patient to complete that order, including all their demographic, shipping, if we're doing billing with them. You'll see what that looks like in a minute. It's called Physician Services, Erica. So this is your order screen. The order screen is great because it's customizable. Everyone likes customization. Yeah. So up at the top here, you can do custom bundles. Bundles are just sets of tests. So if you want to add a blood test, a stool test, a hair test from 3 different companies into one bundle, one click, they're added into your cart straight away. It's as simple as that. Down below that, you can create a favorites list. So individual tests that you're commonly ordering, you just put a little heart next to it. And so if I want to order that GI map from Diagnostic Solutions along with the Dutch Complete, which are 2 of our most popular tests. It's a hormone test and a gut test, 2 clicks, and I press send to patient, and that's literally it. That's it. I can order my tests in under 60 seconds. Again, the normal process would be having to set up separate accounts with each of these labs, go to each one of those accounts to order my tests, have the whole patient file on hand, press order on each of those different accounts that I have with those individual labs. We bring it all into one place. Below that, you have access to the lab test catalog. So if there is a specific test that you're looking for, again, we have over 30 different labs and over 3,000 different tests on our platform. You're able to find it here. So you can browse by category. You can see all the different categories we have. You can browse by lab company. So if you want to find a specific test from a specific company, this will give you their whole catalog here. Browse by sample type. So for example, if you're looking for a test that is offered in full serum draw versus blood spot, and maybe you actually just want a blood spot because you know your patient might be sensitive to blood draws, you can find that here through this actual filter. But you can even do more specific searches. You can search by category. You can even search by biomarker. So if I want to search a specific biomarker, I can do that, and this will bring up all of those tests associated to it. I can click into the details and get all the information I need regarding the breakdown of it, from the sample type to if there's a phlebotomy required, shipping time, sample turnaround times. I can see a sample report. I can even see the collection instructions that we send to the patient. And finally, I can, of course, see the biomarkers as to what this test is actually looking for, right? And if it makes sense for that, I can add that to cart. If I want to compare it to other tests, I have the ability to do that. I'll show you a more formal view of what that looks like because it's one of my favorite features that we have on the platform. Now, let's jump into a little bit more of the nitty gritty, right? I mentioned Rupa Health is free to sign up for. We, of course, have to make a little bit of money to operate. I know it stinks, but we do. So here's how our pricing works. We offer wholesale practitioner pricing. What that means is the same price that you would get having an account directly with the lab company. That's the same price you're offered here at Rupa Health. A lot of labs have 2 different prices. They'll have a patient price and they'll have a practitioner price. That patient price tends to be sometimes tens, sometimes hundreds of dollars more expensive. As you can see, in this case, this Dutch complete test is $200 more expensive. That would be the cost if you were to refer your patient to buy that test directly. Through Rupa Health, they are always going to be paying that lower price. You also might see a couple different coupons here, right? We do have first order coupons available on our site, so be sure to check those out. I'll show them out in a moment. But how does Rupa make their money? It's simple. We charge a 7% processing and ordering fee on each order. So the cost of the tests plus 7%, that's how we make our money. And that's paid for by whoever pays for the tests. And so independent of whether you're paying for the test or the patient's paying for the test, the cost is the exact same. But if you're having us bill the patient directly, which is what the majority of our practitioners prefer for a number of reasons, maybe as simple as you don't want to handle billing, but also we offer multiple different payment solutions to the patient, if you recall. That means that the patient will pay not only for the cost of the tests, but also that 7% processing and ordering fee, meaning Rupa will be completely free for you. You'll never see a bill from Rupa. The only time you'll ever see a bill from us when it comes to ordering tests is if you click this box right here that says, I will pay for the order. In that case, you'll add your payment information and you will pay for the cost of the tests. If that's how you want to roll, completely fine. But I always advise that you maybe want to bill your patient for these tests outside of our platform, because of course, unless you want to give them to them for free, you're going to want to make some money back on those tests. Beyond that, you can also add custom fees. So this is another way that you can actually earn a little bit of revenue from these tests. So for example, if you want to add your own fee to this, maybe an interpretation fee for your time, you do have the ability of adding that fee in there as well. Let's say it's $100. What will happen is you'll connect your account through Stripe in the back end of our system. The patient will pay the cost of the test, the 7%, as well as this custom fee. And then the funds from that custom fee will flow directly into your bank account, again, through Stripe. Super easy to set up. It's fantastic. You can add notes for Rupa, notes for the patient, and you can also add ICD-10 codes. So really important call out here is we don't accept insurance directly through our platform, okay? But what we can do, as I mentioned in the intro, is that we can actually add ICD-10 codes to any order, and that will allow you, as you can see, I can add sibling rivalry to send to the patient. We will automatically create a super bill to send to that patient so they can submit that to their insurance for potential reimbursement. Now, I think I covered pretty much everything in here, but all you're doing on that last step is either adding a patient's phone number so we can text them that this order has been placed, or you can just go ahead and send that to the patient. And that's how you place an order on Rupa Health from 30 plus labs and over 3,000 different tests within a matter of seconds. But what happens when you press send on that order? This is really important. We take it from there. So a crucial component to Rupa Health and our value prop is that we take care of the patient experience end to end. And so this little timeline shows you exactly what that looks like. Your patient receives an email from us. We'll ship the kits out. Once we've received payment, we'll send over instructions and FAQs, videos on how to take the test, walking them through how to fill out the requisition form. And then you're simply notified as the results come in. And so here's what those communications to that patient looks like. Now, this is an instance if the patient is the one paying for the tests. We'll reach out, we'll say, hi, Joshua, Dr. Jordan has ordered these tests for you. We'll introduce who we are, and then we'll highlight those payment options that I mentioned previously. So not only can we pay with credit or debit, we can also pay with HSA, FSA, and we can even set up a 3-month interest-free payment plan. What's really important about those different payment solutions is that not all clinics are set up to accept HSA or FSA or even setting up payment plans, right? And so by offering these different payment solutions, we're helping lower the barrier of entry to get access to these sometimes very expensive tests. And so through that, allowing your patients to get better served, right? Get access to these tests that are so important. Now, if you want to pay for the test, that's completely fine. Nothing changes with the patient experience. We're still going to handhold them, make sure that all their questions come to us and get answered. But really crucial component here is that we're not going to show them the cost of the tests. Again, since you paid for the tests yourself and are billing the patient separately, most likely, we're not going to show the costs of what you paid to the patients. This is showing you an example of what the instructions look like that are sent to the patients. You can see an example of the instructions that we've created over here on the right-hand side. They are different than the lab instructions. The tests themselves will still be sent with their own instructions. What we found is that our instructions that we've curated are a bit more user-friendly. You can click into different sections. They're very readable, but they're also just as comprehensive as the lab test instructions that are sent along with the test. So really important call out there. And you have access to all of these instructions as well prior. So if you want to download them from your own files, completely fine. walking the patient through how to fill out the requisition form, and finally, scheduling a blood draw. So if you are ordering tests that require a phlebotomy, you're able to either customize those instructions. So if you yourself do blood draws in office or have a preferred phlebotomist, we of course can send that information to the patient. Otherwise, we'll send over all the resources to that patient based on the lab that they're working with. Each lab having their own directory and network of phlebotomists, we'll send those resources to the patient. But if they want anything additional, maybe they want a mobile phlebotomist to come to their house and draw their blood, they can reach out to our team, not only just for support, but for questions on phlebotomy. And we will facilitate a search within a 25-mile radius of their zip code to send over any viable options within their area. Again, these would be things that would traditionally fall on your shoulders, and we're handling all that for you. I don't know if you remember that old infomercial, or maybe this is me just faking sick as a child watching infomercials on TV, but the set it and forget it guy, you put like a whole turkey inside of this convection style oven, set it, forget it. That's kind of what it is here, right? You go on Rupa Health, place your orders, forget it. We take care of everything with the patients. You're alerted as each result comes in, and then all you're doing is hopping either into your dashboard, but we're here with Healthie, hopping into your Healthie account, and those results will flow directly into your Healthie account. So that's what that looks like. But what I'm going to show you just real quick is how you'll look at them right here within the main dashboard. So you'll be able to track the progress and status of all your results as well. So your order is sent to your patient, 3 different tests, 3 different labs. You're able to see when the sample arrived at the lab, when you can expect those results to come in. And once those results are in, you're able to get access to them both on Healthie as well as through Rupa. One really unique thing that we have here that's great is you actually have the ability to create a result summary. And so depending on how the lab's setting their file type, if they're setting us a specific file type, we're able to pull the biomarkers out of that. You're able to create a patient-facing PDF that will highlight any outlying biomarkers that you want to call out to the patient. And so you can send this to your patients through Rupa prior to maybe your follow-up visit and say, hey, here's 4 different biomarkers that we saw as potential outliers. Let's take a look at them. I can add next steps. You can add your logo to it. Additionally, you have the ability of scheduling a clinical consultation. And so a really important component to Rupa is by working through us, you're not losing access to any of the benefits that you would have should you be working directly with the labs. And so one of the big benefits of ordering these lab tests is having access to the team from the lab that you ordered from, right? What if I want some assistance interpreting the results? You still have the ability to schedule time with a clinician from the lab that you're ordering the test results from to help you go over exactly what you're seeing here. So we interface with all of them, except for one, it's called Gemelli. But other than them, you have the ability to work with a clinician from any of the labs. So that's the core so far. So what we've seen is how to order all your labs in one place, how to track your results, not just within Rupa, but of course within Healthie, because we're integrated, of course. But what I want to show you next is a little bit of learn about labs. So beyond just somewhere to order all your tests and manage your results, we've created a platform that will give you some education around them too, right? Over 3,000 different tests on our platform. No one single human being on planet Earth is an expert on 3,000 different tests. So what we're doing is we're partnering with our lab companies to create education. So we have boot camps that you can sign up for, right? So you can join a boot camp. This is actually the only other paid option that we have on our platform. There's 6-week deep dives where you can join. And this one's actually with IFM, which is fantastic. We have live classes. Live classes are free 1-hour webinars, sometimes about 1:15. I'm actually the host of them. So feel free to join them if you ever want to see me again, but you can see some cool content and then besides me as well. Intermittent fasting coming up with Dr. Rob Silverman. We have one coming up with all about Akkermansia, which is a fantastic supplement that we're just learning about as well. But this is not just where we have the webinars available, but you also have the ability to learn about specific lab companies by category, popular tests, and even compare labs. So let's click into this. What we can do is we have the ability to compare labs. Rupa's in a very unique position where we have partnerships, right? No other no other company out there has partnerships with over 30 different labs like we do. And so with that, we want to be able to put you in the best position to find the tests that are right for you and for your patients. And so what this is showing me, I clicked into it, is all of the different hormone tests on Rupa Health, right? I can see not only just the cost of the test, but I can see any additional costs associated to it, sample types. I can look at all the different sample reports available. Below that, I can see all the instructions, turnaround times, and then down below, I can see all the biomarkers associated with these tests. So if I'm looking for a very specific test that I want to run that has to have biomarkers that I'm looking for, this is where I'll be able to find that. And I can actually even search and filter by biomarker too. So this will show me this test has it, this test does not have it. So always like to call that out. And you can customize this. You can send this link to partners of yours, other individuals, so they can actually get access to this as well. We don't like to gatekeep a lot here at Rupa Health. We like to make sure that everything's as transparent as possible. And then the lab test catalog that I'm in with as well, you might have seen this previously in the order screen. This is essentially a big version of that, somewhere where you can get a high level overview of all the labs that we work with, all the tests that we offer. Okay. So what we've seen so far, where you're ordering all your tests, where you are managing your results through Rupa as well as Healthie, and as well where you're getting the education from. Now, I'm going to show you a couple more things here, lab shops. So really excited about lab shops. What this is a product that Rupa created because we saw a need for practitioners to be able to get their patients better access to specific testing. Now, this is completely optional. You can either have a lab shop or not have a lab shop. It's not for everyone, but if it is for you, it could potentially just make your operations that much more efficient. It's completely customizable, but you're probably already asking, Adrian, what the heck is it? Let's take a look. So what lab shops is, it's effectively an e-commerce platform. So you're able to create your own lab shop, embed it into your website. You can see mine's Rupa branded, but you add your own brand to it, and you're able to show what tests that you offer. Okay. So you're able to say, hey, we offer these tests. The patient has the ability to hop on and order these tests under your license. You, of course, approve them. They're not just coming on and ordering whatever testing they want. If a patient is interested in ordering these tests, you're able to bypass some of the back and forth. Right. So it's one way that we're able to get these tests in the hands of your patients in a more effective manner. You'll get a copy of the results and you're able to see them and overview them and review them with your patients. So asynchronous is the word that we're looking for. Pretty cool. Here's how it works. And you can actually use this not only just with your license, but we can also do this with the physician services program that I mentioned before. And so I know that folks may have joined a little bit late, so it might be a good time to talk about physician services. Traditionally with Rupa Health, back when we were founded all those 4 years ago, you needed to have a license in order to order testing, right? It makes complete sense. If you're a practitioner licensed in California, you can order testing for your patients located only in California. But let's say maybe you run a virtual practice, or maybe you're a naturopathic doctor in the state of Florida where they're not licensed, right? How do you get access to these tests for your patients? Well, that's where physician services comes into play. What physician services is, it's a program where you can apply for it, and we will partner you with a licensed physician who would be able to order the tests for your patients on your behalf. So you'll come to Rupa Health, you're able to create a recommendation, send that order to your patient. Once that goes through, that will be routed to a licensed physician, and they'll be able to order those tests for your patients. So there's so many different circumstances that this could be very valuable for. But if you have any questions regarding that, like specific questions, feel free absolutely to reach out to me. Now, as I mentioned as well, we always run promotions. We have a ton of partnerships with these labs. And so you can see that we create these different promotions available for you. So whether you're new to Rupa Health or have been on Rupa Health before, these are available for you. So feel free to always hop in, play around, and see what you can find on these promos tab, because you may have missed that email that came from us. And if you're a doctor who does phlebotomies, who does tests that require phlebotomies, we offer a phlebotomy map. And so once you sign up for Rupa Health, you have the ability to hop into here and say, maybe I want to go into Denver, Colorado, and that's where I'm located. I'm able to type in my zip code, and I can see all the different phlebotomy options within my area, right? our goal here, again, is to make your business easier. While Denver is a pretty big metro, there's also some really rural areas in Colorado where we're working with practitioners. And so you're able to kind of scroll around and see. And if you're in an area that maybe doesn't have very high coverage, you can reach out to our team. We'll do a search within, again, a 25-mile radius and send over any viable options to you for your patients. Now, while there's nothing that we can do to just magically make a phlebotomist appear, what we can do is save you the time and legwork that is oftentimes required when you're trying to order tests for your patients, but don't know where they can get their blood draw from. Now, we also, of course, have support. Our support team's fantastic. One thing that I really like to call out that sets Rupa apart, we're real human beings. You know, you reach out to our team, you're actually going to be talking to a team. You're not going to get the runaround with an AI chatbot for 45 minutes and just absolutely lose it, because nobody enjoys that. You'll reach out to our team that gets routed. Our response times are under an hour when it comes to support. So you'll be helped out by somebody who likely I have a personal relationship with, that I've spoken to, that there's an actual human being behind that computer. So I always love to call that out. And that's not just for you as a practitioner, but also for your patients. Which I think is equally, if not maybe even a little more important, right? We want to make sure that your patients are taken care of, because we understand that that patient experience is a direct reflection upon your business when you're working with Rupa. It's also a reflection on our business. So we want to make sure that we're putting our best foot forward, because that represents you. Thanks, Barry. Oh, thank you, April. Little call out to our support in the chat. I don't think y'all can see it. And if you're curious about what labs that you have access to, when you create your account, and let's say that you're using your license, you have the ability, we'll basically use your license and your state to use logic to know what tests that you have access to. So there's transparency here. You're able to hop in and say, hey, what tests do I have access to? Well, let's show you, right? You have the ability to see what's enabled, what's disabled. Mine are all enabled just because I work at Rupa Health. I'm not an actual practitioner, so I wouldn't be able to order these, but you'll be able to see exactly what's happening within that. And finally, some things that I always like to call out as well when it comes to Rupa is the fact that we are not just for like solo practitioners or small clinics. Yes, they are absolutely the backbone of our business. But if you're a larger clinic, or even if you're a clinic and you have staff members, we can add them onto your account as well. So you can always hop in, you can always invite your team members to join, right? So if you do have an admin, it's as simple as what I showed you before when you created a patient. You just need first name, last name, email address, and you can invite that person to join your account. They'll have their own separate login. And then from there, you don't have to share passwords or anything of that nature. So for example, if you have an admin, they'll be able to log into your account or the account and order under your license. If you have multiple practitioners, they have the ability to log in and order under their license, but you'll still be able to see each other's orders if that's how you want to operate. You can assign who's receiving what notification emails, so on and so forth. Everything is customizable, from the notes to the patient, custom bundles, and more. Ooh, this is a new feature. So we are a tech company. I always like to call that out. So what you're seeing right now is by no means the finished product. We're constantly iterating. We're always adding new products, new features, new functionality. And I know Kate wanted to go through maybe food plans a little bit more, but I'm going to steal her thunder because she's late and I'm on time. So we get to do that kind of stuff around here. So let's write in the chat. Let's get everybody involved. Hopefully I'm not putting you to sleep. How many of y'all go and create food plans or meal plans for your patients, or maybe it's a part of your business? Yes. Lots of yeses. I love it. Living plate right now. Yes. Okay, beautiful. So what Rupa Health has done is we've created, and Kate will expand upon this and how it's maybe more applicable when it comes to her as a practitioner. But we've created, and this is, as you can see next to it, a beta. So what we're able to do is we can create food plans based on a patient and a client's needs. So all I need to do is I can add a patient into here and I can create a meal plan straight away. So I can say, hey, how many meals do I want? I can say I want 3 meals per day and 3 snacks per day. What kind of diet plan do we want? Let's say that I want anti-inflammatory. Always. Preferences, low sugar, with high protein, and low carbs. And then the dietary restrictions involved gluten-free. And you can see that I can also add daily calorie intake that I want. Let's say 2,500 daily nutrients. We'll skip that. And then from there, I just go ahead and generate that food plan. And within a matter of seconds, you can see this thing creating a food plan based on my recommendations. Pretty cool, right? I know when I first saw this, it blew my mind because me and my fiance are always trying to figure out what we want to eat for dinner. And I think that's the topic of conversation, starting at about 11 a.m. every single day. And using this has made our lives so much easier. So you have access to this, y'all. By the way, this is a free tool within Rupa. Everything I've shown you so far has been completely free for you to sign up for and get access to. So this is all available here for you. You can make edits to it, right? You can make edits to it. So if once it's done, you can hop in and make any changes to variations. If you want to remove olive oil or anything that you don't like, you have the ability to do that as well. So you can always share feedback. Another really important concept that I like to call out about Rupa is we've built this platform, a lot of the platform, based off of feedback that we've received from practitioners. Your feedback is among the most important information for us. And so if you see anything that you want to see improved, or that would be able to improve your life and daily usage of Rupa Health, please absolutely do this. So
Adrian, great question from Amy in the chat. Do you include a disclaimer on the generated meal plan that this has not been vetted by a medical professional?
Yeah, that's actually a really good question. I don't believe we do, Matt, but let me get back to you. I don't want to give a wrong answer on that. But we can take a look at what the PDF looks like. So this is the PDF that is generated from it. Any disclaimers outside of this, I'm not 100% on. So let me get back to you on that one, Amy. Good question. Any other questions that are coming in?
Looks like Adrian is asking, do you offer plans for whole foods, plant-based recommendations? I would say yes, right?
Like Whole Foods, the business?
I think he means like Whole Foods is in.
Like, oh, Whole Food. Okay. Yeah, the double capitalization there got me. I wasn't sure this and that. Adrian, first things first, great name. Yeah, I believe so. Yeah, you should be able to make any edits to it, just like within this adjustments, or even at the initial component of it, you can do that. If we have lab shop, yeah, for sure. So you can actually add your logos to this as well without lab shops. So if I go to my settings, clinic settings, I can add my logo into here. Mine just has Rupa because I just upload the Rupa logo in there. I don't have like a cool personal business logo outside of Rupa. So that's why everything that you see on mine is Rupa branded. So you can add your logo to that. Absolutely.
April asks, is there any way to see the history of the food plan?
What do you mean by history?
So maybe prior history of meal plans, if you're able to filter back.
You can. So if I go to a patient, and this is going to look so ugly, y'all, because I've created probably 100 food plans for Chris Burton. You have the ability to look into, how did I get there? So yes, you do. So if you click into the patient file, you do have the ability to do it. Sorry, y'all. There we go. So if I go to the patient, you can see all their food plans here up at the top. Thanks, Jacques. Let's see here.
Oh, looks like Dr.
Oh,
Kate's on.
Dr. Kate, just in time.
Hi. Sorry, I was filming our newest episode of the Root Cause Medicine podcast and it went long because we were talking about pelvic floor therapy, which is so amazing and incredible. And I just needed our guests to keep talking. Nice to see you all.
Real quick, before jumping in, Kate, question on physician services through insurance. No, so unfortunately, because physician services, you are not the signing practitioner. You don't have the ability to add ICD-10 codes. And so with that, we can't create super bills currently through physician service orders. Awesome. Kate, thanks so much for jumping in. I will go ahead and let you pass it off. We already covered food plans, but I would love for you to hop in and cover food plans a little bit more as it pertains to your experience.
Yeah. So hi guys. Nice to see everybody. I am a Healthie and Rupa user, just like the rest of you. I used Healthie in my practice and loved it for so many reasons. So how many, just if you guys want to throw in the chat, I know a lot of you are most likely RDs, and then many of you are running programs. And so if you are doing those things, then saving time is really important, and Healthie helps you do that in so many different ways. One of the ways I love that Rupa helped me do that as well was that they created an AI food planning tool, which can let you make a meal plan in under 2 minutes. And so, Adrian, did you demo that for them, where you showed them a sample meal plan, or am I doing that?
I showed them a sample meal plan.
Oh,
all right.
Oh, so then you guys already saw it. So one of the things that was really cool for me in practice is that I could kind of flip my monitor around and literally talk through with the client. What do you need? What do you want? What do we need to accomplish for you? The plan would build for them in 2 minutes, and then they would go take it home, test it out, bring it back. And that's where we would do a lot of the customizing and individualization. And it was great because that gave us more time, and it gave me more time, not using my nights and weekends to meal plan anymore, which I super appreciated. And then as you guys know, I think one of the coolest new features from Rupa that you can use if you're taking advantage of Healthie's asynchronous programming is that many of you have created a program that will kind of automatically email your clients content at specific intervals, right? So before they come in for their initial visit, they might get some videos from you about what to expect or different health topics. Maybe you're sending them some other forms of content. One thing that you can do with your clients asynchronously is share your lab shop from Rupa Health, which is great because let's say you're running a program that's how to lower your cholesterol in 12 weeks. You can have them actually order their own cholesterol panel before and after. And so that's one thing they don't have to ping you for or ask you for, or your administrative person doesn't have to deal with. They can order it themselves, and you can give them that link in the asynchronous program, and that works really well. And again, will save you time. But I am here to answer your questions as someone who was in the field using Healthie and Rupa. So yeah, whatever questions you guys have, I am happy to answer. I know there's one in the chat saying, can the meal plan also be emailed to them? Absolutely. All you do is hit download and then you email it, but you can also upload it to their document section and just make it visible. So that way it's in Healthie, which is kind of nice because you want a record of it. Oh, any other questions? And go ahead, Priyanka, jump in if you want to.
No, I was just going to try to respond to someone who asked, how do you send it to the patient? So what are the different ways, outreach methods or communication methods with your patients on top of email?
So one thing that you can do is share a care plan with them through Healthie. And actually we would do that rather than email, because when we would give out our email, it would get inundated. And so we would share a care plan, and you can attach documents to that, as you guys know, and tasks, and remind them through the task tracker. You could share it through their documents. So you could upload it to their document and then make it visible to them, and even kind of like ping them and notify them. Communicating with clients. So one of the ways that you can send them reminders is to add a task in their care plan. So kind of schedule those reminders through that, but then also just through your messaging, if that's how you want to do it. There's so many ways that you can stay in touch with people and keep them motivated, because so much of what we do is behavior change. So just that regular communication and kind of top of mind help and touch points is something that I think Healthie does pretty well. Yeah.
Judy, to answer your question. So what is Healthie? Today's webinar is all about the Healthie Rupa integration, but Healthie itself is it's an EMR scheduling and patient engagement platform for modern healthcare delivery. So we not only work with registered dietitians, individual providers, small, medium sized clinics, but we also work with digital health startups to make sure that we are offering care to patients in the most efficient way possible. So Healthie and Rupa, basically, we are partnered and we have a very strong integration, allowing the lab work experience to be just much more efficient and much more patient-centric.
And I forgot to even cover this. And there's a couple of ways that you can enable that integration, which I think is, of course, a very important thing to cover during this. So if you're an existing Healthie user, it's so easy. All you're going to do is go into your settings and go under, oopsies, press too many buttons. Under your settings, you'll hop under clinic settings and then add integration, and you'll just select the Healthie option. Oh, yeah, there it is down below, bottom left. So you'll just connect to it, log into your existing account, and I believe you can do it through Healthie as well. We'll send a follow-up email with more instruction on how to enable this integration, but I wanted to make sure that that was absolutely covered because it's super simple.
And yes, Heidi, Healthie Plus level, yes. That's how you're able to enable that integration. And then India asks, does Healthie offer sample programs and meal plans? The answer to that is yes, we do have sample programs available. We have like program templates. And within Healthie, you're able to actually customize programs, able to edit a list of clients, and able to add like different organizational members to be given customization rights to programs. And that's kind of where the programs and meal planning kind of links it. Any other questions in the chat? In the Q&A we have, so Cindy asks, we are a wellness organization without ordering privileges. When Rupa arranges for ordering privileges, is the patient able to submit the super bill for insurance purposes?
Yeah, great question. So unfortunately not. That is a limitation to the physician services program, just by nature, since the practitioner signing off, or rather since you're not the practitioner who's formally signing off on the order on the requisition form, there's no ability to add ICD-10 codes when you're placing the order. And so those ICD-10 codes are required when placing, or in order for us to create a super bill. So yeah, not at this time, Cindy. I also want to touch on, so I was able to go back and kind of reread the AI question on if we send out disclaimers, because it's not vetted by a medical professional. We don't send the food plans aren't just naturally sent out. And so you as the medical professional have the ability to look over those food plans prior to them being sent out. So you can make any edits, adjustments to them. And so that's what that process, that vetting process looks like.
And guys, I'll just add here, I think I was concerned about people maybe being used to using insurance for labs. And, I was kind of concerned, okay, if we have to use physician services, right? If our RD, for example, uses that and they pay cash and they don't get a super bill, like, will that deter people from using the program? And the answer was no, surprisingly. And that's because honestly, so many people have such high deductibles, or the convenience that you're offering them of having maybe the kit is shipped straight to them. we're able to offer bulk pricing through Rupa. So often the test that you're getting through Rupa is much cheaper than they would get it elsewhere, or they even can't get this test through their doctor and use insurance. I'm thinking about things like food sensitivity, Dutch testing, heavy metal testing, like they're not going to get that through insurance through the regular doc. So I actually found that that wasn't a barrier at all. And in fact, many clients actually felt like they were still saving money. So I just want to throw that in there for whatever that's worth.
Yeah, I think it is worth a lot, to be honest with you. And you've obviously experienced it firsthand, and being in the position that I'm in, oftentimes there's a lot of practitioners who just don't deal with insurance, but by Rupa being able to offer just that practitioner price to the patient while still allowing the practitioner to not handle the billing. There's cost savings in so many different ways, as well as time savings. Our goal here, our mission at Rupa Health is to help bring root cause medicine to every person on the planet. Now, to specify, right now, Rupa only operates within the US. So we've got quite a bit more landmass to cover before we reach that goal. But we would be doing a disservice to the patients by making it more difficult for them to get access to these already difficult to get access to tests. So really what our mission is to help streamline the process for you as a practitioner, as well as make things easier for these patients to get access to these oftentimes very expensive tests. Yeah. Most MDs don't order functional lab testing. Funny. It's so funny you mentioned that, Grazia. What the comment was, like, most MDs don't order functional medicine lab testing. That's true. Conventional medicine doesn't generally order these tests. Practitioners don't generally order these tests. But what we're seeing just within functional medicine is such a movement towards functional medicine lab testing for a lot of different reasons. But honestly, one of the big reasons that we hear about is burnout. General medicine practitioners are simply just kind of tired of being segmented into only practicing a certain way. And so having the opportunity to get more personalized in their approach to patients, that's really what root cause functional medicine is all about, right? And we truly do believe in that approach. And, teaming up with Healthie makes things a lot easier for us to be able to do that.
India asks as well, bulk pricing through Rupa, would we need to order kits for the client?
Bulk pricing through Rupa, we need to order kits for a client.
So I can clarify, since I'm the one who's that. So bulk pricing are like at cost pricing. So if you guys are used to ordering labs, that there is one price that you pay if you pay for the kit, and that there's another price you're supposed to upcharge the client, or you can upcharge the client. Some labs make you sign agreements that you will. It's a kind of the wild, wild west out there. We got some people charging like $400 for a stool test, and other people are charging $1,000. There is a price for the test, period, that comes through Rupa. Your client can see it, and you can choose whether or not you add a fee. I will say in my practice, we never ever did. I felt personally like charging a fee for supplements or tests was just like not in line ethically with what we were doing. And so we never charged a fee. We just gave the client our pricing for the test. So when you order the client the test, it sends them the form that they fill out to get the kit sent to them. And they paid exactly what we would have paid if we, as the clinician, ordered it for them. So that's what I mean by like the bulk pricing is like whatever the price is on Rupa, like you can have your client pay that. You can add a custom fee. So maybe you're somebody who, Fridays are taking off, you're going to the beach, you want to do like asynchronous lab interpretation and send your client an email and say, hey, looked over your labs, here's what this means. Totally. You can add a fee for that so that covers your time to do that at a later date, and your client can see that as well. But it makes it really affordable for your clients that the prices are very reasonable on Rupa, I think. And that's what our clients felt as well. That's what I meant.
Yeah, absolutely. Just to address April's question on do people order Genova tests because they're commonly covered by insurance? I think that's definitely one of the reasons. Genova's also got great tests. I think that's also a very important reason as well why people order those tests. We don't currently accept insurance for any test, and that includes Genova on our platform. Could that change in the future? Sure. Hopefully it does, to be honest with you. Hopefully all these tests are covered by insurance in the future. But with that said, I always like to call out that if you're able to provide a better patient experience by going directly to the labs, by all means, please do that, right? If you know that your patient wants to pay insurance for these tests and that's how you want to operate, Sure. There's no penalty, right? Rupa, you don't sign anything to Rupa, you're saying that you're going to order all of your tests. There's no minimum spend. There's no subscription that you're paying to Rupa Health. If you want to order certain tests on Rupa, but you're finding, again, a better patient experience ordering directly because they can get insurance options, please do that. Our goal here, again, is just to provide the best possible patient experience and operations for your business.
Well, Adrian probably already said this, but your clients can use their HSA or FSA to pay. And we also offer 3-month payment plans, which is like literally unheard of, and really helps democratize access to a lot of these specialty tests, like the Dutch test that's not going to be covered, that many people couldn't otherwise afford to access.
Yeah, absolutely. I saw another question coming through Q&A. Where is that? Oh, I'm using dual monitors, y'all, and I some reason moved that the complete opposite side of my screen. Looks like Matt got that covered. Or did he? As a nurse practitioner in Texas with a limited practice authority, do I need to request physician services? But if using physician services, I will not be able to access results before seeing the patient. Yeah, super good question, Sasha. So here's how I always explain ordering rights, as we call them. Basically, ordering rights being your ability to order testing based on your license and your state, right? Your license and ordering rights, or your ordering rights, depends on your license, which also depends on your state, right? And so I don't have them all memorized, but if you're able to order testing directly under your license, then you're able to order those tests on Rupa Health with an NPI number. So as a nurse, for example, you may be able to order certain testing, but for other tests, you may require physician services. And so you do have the ability of toggling on and off physician services based on the test that you want to order, but you can't use both on a single order, meaning if you want to use your license to order a test, but also want to order a test that requires physician services, it'll require 2 separate orders. Now, that wasn't your question. Your question was, do I have access to the results before seeing the patient? You receive the results at the same time. So only if you're using physician services. Under physician services, we always send a copy of the results directly to the patient as well as to you. However, if you are using your license to order testing, then you have the ability to send the patients the results whenever you're ready, unless the patient request results from Rupa Health, under which legally we have to provide the results to the patients. So to kind of summarize, if you're ordering testing under your license, we don't send the results automatically to the patient unless you want to. There's a setting for that. Otherwise, if you're using physician services, then there is we will send the results to the patients. Additional costs for testing. Yeah, of course, Sasha. So Heidi's got a question. So again, for additional costs for testing, is physician services $25, $7 fee? Yeah, great question, Heidi. I don't think I actually talked about that. So thank you so much for asking. So the standard Rupa cost structure is as follows. We charge wholesale practitioner pricing plus 7%, right? That is the standard Rupa pricing. However, if you are using physician services, there is an additional fee. That additional fee is $25 per standard kit. However, if you're ordering basic blood labs, the fee is $9.50. So hopefully that clarifies. And that's new. So happy to announce that. New as in today. So is there a way to hide our fee and the physician services fee? So no, well, yes and no, I guess. So depending on the payment model, if you're having us bill the patient directly and the patient is the one paying for the cost of the test themselves, then we outline everything. I wasn't saying in jest that transparency is important for us when I was showing you all the catalog information, pricing as well. So we want to make sure that the patient sees all the costs associated to it, understanding that, we don't want to have 25 line items because it's just off-putting for a patient, but it'll be, cost of the test, their savings, physician services fee, so on and so forth. The way that you would hide that is if you decide to pay for the cost of the test yourself and then bill the patient separately. Of course, positives on that, patient's not going to see the cost of what you paid for the test. The positive being, you bill the patient separately outside of our platform. And if you want to charge for anything additional, that's your prerogative. We stay out of that type of business.
Thank you so much for those great answers, Adrian. And we've had some awesome questions coming in from the attendees. So thank you all so much for your time today. I just want to make sure I'm being conscious of time. It's about 2:03 Pacific, but Just wanted to let everyone know that we are going to be sending out a recording of this webinar. We'll have the Q&A section as well sent out to all attendees. Also, you're going to have access to Rupa's landing page, how to sign up for Rupa, as well as help documentation to make sure you're able to have any questions answered on your end. Once again, just want to thank everyone on the Rupa team for your time today, for this incredible presentation. Matt, Adrian, Dr. Kate, you guys are all awesome. Thank you so much. And we'll be sending out that follow-up email soon.
Thanks, Pri. Let us know if you have any questions, and thank you all for joining today.
Bye, y'all. Take care.